Hey everybody, welcome to Trading the Close. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at VerifiedInvesting.com. Now, a lot to go over. We saw another day where the markets opened higher today, kind of trying to shrug off Friday's decline, and then the selling came in. We even saw a midday bounce that took the S&P back to the green side, but it did not last, and we are close to the lows of the day here into the end of the day. Now, what does this mean? Well, the S&P is now going to reconfirm below that key level, that breakout level. It had confirmed above, but now it's confirming back below. And as I've said before, when you basically fail a breakout, the move in the opposite direction can be massive. So be aware, be on alert. Doesn't guarantee a major move down here, but this certainly raises the stakes and probabilities of a big sell-off. Let's go over to the big board and take a look today. You can see the Dow is actually higher on the day. So that's defensive names generally up about 181 points, but the NASDAQ down 130 and the S&P is now negative on the day, trading just around that 6,000 or 6,000 level. Oil today fractionally higher. Gold, same thing, fractionally higher. Defensive play right here on gold continues to show signs that it wants to get to $3,000 per ounce. And then Bitcoin struggling today, folks. So again, Bitcoin down about 2%. In fact, some of the altcoins are taking a nosedive. Solana, I'll maybe show that chart in just a minute, but that actually just hit a major technical level. We'll have to see if it can hold, all right? So again, some big things going on. You can see over here the heat map. Look at technology. All right, there's Meta, there's Microsoft, there's NVIDIA. Apple, which is more defensive, that's up a little bit today, but Broadcom over here is down as well. So again, technology taking the brunt of this sell-off here on today's action. Now, here's your S&P chart, and you can see very clearly this is real time here on the SPY. Very clearly, here was where we had confirmed above on the charts, and guess what? We closed below on Friday, and now we're going to reconfirm below. Now, reconfirming back below, like I said, it raises the probability that this was essentially what we would call a bull trap. Get people in thinking this is the next leg up on the S&P where we're going to head back higher, and now pull the rug from out from under them, out from under the retail investor, and bring the markets down. Now, we do have this upsloping trend line right here. This is going to be your first level. Don't be surprised if we test this tomorrow. Okay, 2 consecutive down days, the third day right into this level right here. That will be your next big test. If we continue through that, this would be that major breakdown that takes it even to another level, which would be potentially revisiting last August's lows down the line. All right, so again, some big things going on the S&P 500. I just want to go to the charts here and just show that same chart and just zoom out, because I want to show you why this line is so pivotal here. This is a line that goes back to October of 2023, and you could arguably say this has been the bull market since October of 2023 that we've been stuck in, right? 2 lines that are slowly getting closer together. So my point being is if we were to confirm below this line here, that would be a major break in trend that has to get all of our attentions. Now, the NASDAQ. Take a look here. I highlighted this morning in the chart of the NASDAQ here as a potential confirming breakdown. It is going to do that today. So again, just keep an eye on that. Again, there's your close below on Friday and a confirming breakdown today. And this line goes back to the August lows. Remember that big correction we had in August? Well, now we have confirmed below that trend. This is the break of that first trend with confirmation, and it does raise the stakes for more downside here. You can see this this slight downsloping line here, upsloping, and we have now again confirmed below. Now, the 10-year yield continues to go lower. Now, a lot of people are probably scratching their head, and the reason I say scratching their head is because generally when yields go lower, markets tend to go higher. There's a change going on here. All right, there's a change where people are starting to fret about the U.S. economy. All right, so as long as the economy is strong, then people were like, yes, lower rates, free money, more borrowing, more stimulus. But now rates are starting to go lower because we're seeing weakness in the economy. And now the concern is we're starting to hear more and more about stagflation, which is higher inflation in a weakening economy. Usually, during an expansionary economy is when you see inflation, because people have more money, they're working more, they're doing this, they're doing that, things are great, so they spend more and they drive prices up. The worst of all scenarios is when people are losing jobs and making less, but inflation is still going up. That is the definition of stagflation. That's something you're going to hear more and more about. All right, we have a couple key charts here. Take a look at Palantir. Another nasty drop on Palantir. Let me go over to the big board here and take a look at this. This is awesome to see here. So what we have is Palantir crashing down now something like 30% off of the highs of just basically last week. But look at the level coming into sight. All right, we have a high pivot, a gap fill, that creates that trend line. We have a low pivot right down here through this low pivot, and this is right in here. So tomorrow, and right away, I'm already thinking a step ahead. I'm trying to plan out what could be a trading opportunity for the next day. Palantir, if it gets into this 85 to 80 level right here, huge major support. This would be a revisiting of where it was before they announced their last earnings, which created that momentum move. It would revisit, and this again, folks, would be expected to, based on charts and probabilities, to be a major support level there. All right, so that is on my radar for tomorrow. In a weird way, I'm like, all right, I hope it flushes out tomorrow because it'll give us a great buying opportunity. Robinhood, I talked about this one yesterday, or I should say in pre-market action in the game plan this morning. Upsloping trend line. Look at how it went right there and bounced. So again, this is short-term support right here on Robinhood. Robinhood had those good earnings. It opened higher and then just fell right apart, negating the gap on earnings and coming right back in. This is short-term support. If it breaks, my next level would be right here. This would be a huge level on Robinhood, high pivot, high pivot, high pivot right in this area. That would be around just below $43 per share. And then Oklo, which has been a major momentum mover. Look at the drop on this thing, trading all the way back down to $34 today after this is just last Friday or a Friday ago. So basically just over a week ago was at $57.60. It's now at $34, but look at what we have here. Same sort of thing as Palantir, minus the major gap fill, flat top, upsloping trend line, X marks the spot. I'm going to be a watcher here around $27 to $26. If it gets there in the next few days, that's a great one to watch. And then you have HIMS here, which has been another momentum mover. Huge move to the upside. Look at the correction. Fills this gap today right here. That's a gap fill, and then this secondary support level, and gets a bounce. Now it's bounced. It may continue, but if it rolls over, we start looking for lower levels on HIMS. Where could HIMS be a very interesting buying opportunity? This area right here. You can see this flat top, and then we got up here, and when we broke out, that's when the momentum came in. Therefore, revisiting that would be a scene of the crime. By the way, I posted on Financial News about 2 weeks ago this parallel on HIMS. Let me go to the weekly so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Look at this parallel. It literally marked the top. And I said, guys, this could be the top on HIMS. Again, if you follow the financial news articles on there, it's all really technical analysis based by all the traders here. But I put out this exact chart. I think it was a week ago on Friday or 2 weeks ago on Friday or so. But bottom line, that was the beautiful top there. Tesla today down on the day. I have a big level on Tesla down here around 270. I know that's still a ways away, but I am in the mode of thinking the markets are in for a bigger correction move. Speaking of which, Bitcoin. Let's go to the big board and take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is breaking to the downside out of this narrow channel, and therefore you have to assume it's going to test 92 to 91,000. If it breaks that, then there's really no major support. And I say major because there'll be bounces along the way. We all know that, right? Very rare something goes straight down without a bounce. But really, we're talking about 74 to 75 right down here as your big level. I'm hearing crazy price targets like by end of year 200,000. Maybe. I mean, again, end of year is really far away. But I think it goes to 74, 75 before it goes back up. That would be my guess. Now, listen, could I be proven wrong? Sure, I could. And you know how I would know? If you take out this high. Very simple. Charts tell me, right? Charts can tell me. I can think whatever I want. Frankly, it doesn't matter. It's all about the charts. The charts will tell us. And if we were to confirm above here, well then, yeah, you're headed to 125 probably at least. But right now, this line is the line in the sand. And if we confirm below that, there's an air pocket down to about 75,000 to 74 that would be on watch. All right, couple other charts here to go over real quick. Let's take a quick look at gold today. Gold, a defensive name. It did close above the doji high, but remember we talked about this little bull flag starting to form right here. And so again, this raises the odds that we're going to visit 3,000 before we have a big pullback in gold. And then silver, man. Silver just continues to struggle here, down just a little bit. It did hold this little minor support level here, but again, you could just see this. And by the way, palladium, same thing. Palladium was under pressure today as well. Look at that breakdown on palladium, where it could end up heading back down to about $850 based on this chart. You can see the downsloping trend line, this other trend line here. This zone would be a great buying opportunity, but still, that's a fair distance lower. That's about 10% lower than current levels on palladium. All right, oil today, very little movement, still no trade for me whatsoever after this short was up here, and we had some good profits on that in the smart money commodity service. But again, today just a little bit of a pop up. And then if we look at natural gas was down, although off of its lows, trading about 3.8. Now, one other stock to keep an eye on, Apple. Apple still has an overall head and shoulders pattern. It was up today. It generally goes up when the rest of technology goes down. That one is on watch, folks. There's a couple gap fills coming up. I still think Apple will eventually go below $200 a share. So now I'm scoping out to say, okay, where might I want to buy some put options on something like Apple to try to capitalize on a big flush. We did this a while ago, made some great money. Now I'm looking to do it again. All right, guys, so a lot going on here. Let's watch these levels that I've talked about. I'll update you guys in the game plan tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But on that note, I bid you all the best of good buys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.